My name is Paul, and in my opinion, the new shape Land Rover Defender is the best car to come from Jaguar Land Rover in a very long time. The car behind me is a 2022 P525 Supercharged V8. I'd like to show you around. So I still call them new shape Land Rovers because I've got the old shape, but this is the Land Rover Defender 90. Now the difference between a 90, 110 and a 130 is the 90, previously with the old model, the distance between this axle and this axle was 90 inches, and the 110 was 110 inches, and the 130 was 130 inches. In modern terms, it's there or thereabouts, but what this tells us is that this is the shorter wheelbase out of the three. This particular car has got the 525 brake horsepower, so the P525 is petrol and 525 brake horsepower or thereabouts. Now you can get 525 brake horsepower out of a much smaller engine, but with a car like this, that doesn't work so well. If we had a really light aerodynamic racing car, then you could get that out of a four-cylinder engine and it would work very well. Here we've got a permanent four-wheel drive system. You've got a very strong and rugged chassis. You have the ability to tow 3,500 kilograms. So brake horsepower is not all that's needed here. What we need here is torque, and torque comes from a much bigger engine, and a supercharger helps to deliver a lot more torque from any given size engine. And the supercharger gives torque and power right from when you first put your foot down. It doesn't have to build up pressure like a turbo does. So this makes this car effortless to drive when you're driving it normally. You're using so little of the accelerator pedal in everyday use, but when you do put your foot down, it is capable of 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, and it will level out at about 149 miles an hour. So it's definitely no slouch. It's good fun to drive, but more importantly, it's easy and it's absolutely effortless. It's an effortless drive. It does have, I'm going to show you these, 4 exhausts coming out of the back, and as well as looking pretty cool, that V8 burble coming from those 4 tailpipes sounds incredible. It's a fabulous sounding car, and it's very rewarding when you put your foot down. It's sat on 22-inch style 5098 wheels in gloss black, and you can see the Defender insignia on there. And I'm going to take the time to show you as well, we've also invested in, because these wheels are so popular, an additional Land Rover lock. What that does is that stops anyone from being able to access the bolts underneath, and we've also got lock and wheel bolts underneath as well, so security conscious, helps to keep your investment safe. The colour is Santorini Black, and I'm just going to just scroll down or walk down through the side of the car and show you that the reflection in the doors is beautifully clear and crisp, and that tells us that the panels are in very nice condition. No dinks, scratches, no signs of it being painted. And the colour, in fact, there's a chip just there. I'll show you that, which has been touched in. But what you can see here is the colour of the Santorini Black. This car has done 29,500 miles, so there will be a chip here and there. But I've got to say, when you look as closely as I am with the car, there aren't many. Everything is black, so you've got the black lower apron here. That quite often is in silver, and the top part is all black as well, along with the black Defender badges. And instead of having the tread plate style tops, we've got these louvers, which actually look really cool. It has the wide body arches, so they help to build the arches out, and you can see here they cover these big 22-inch wheels very nicely. And just tucked in there underneath the doors are the side steps, and they are going to help you get in and out a lot more easily. A lovely little boot spoiler, privacy glass to the rear window, and the rather cool looking orange towing eyes. It's just a It's a cool looking car and it's good to drive. It's a lovely thing to drive. Now I'll start with the back. So we have air suspension with this car, and the air suspension will, one, make the ride more comfortable, help the car to corner more flatly, if that's the right word. But what it also does is it gives you more clearance, ground clearance, water clearance, and that sort of thing. So if I look at the moment, I can just about get 4 fingers between the top of the wheel and the wheel arch. That is at the lower setting. So if I was to drive through a puddle or water or ford or something, I've got 2'6" of wading capability. And I've got that amount of ground clearance if I'm going to go over some objects. Now I can do this from the back, or I can do this from inside the car. So I'm going to press that button, and I'm going to hold this level so you can see what happens. So now you can see the level at which this car is rising, because the camera I'm holding steady. And now I can hear the tyres moving. The back end went up first, now the front end's gone up. Now let's see what happens to the gap under the wheel arch. So now, if I put my hand in there, I can move my hand up and down quite easily. Now I've skipped a setting, so we had the 2'6". We've got 3 different settings: 2'6" of wading, 2'9" of wading at the middle setting, and now here we've got 2'11" of wading. So one thing that we do seem to get a lot of at this time of the year in the UK is water, and we certainly have plenty of that today. So while everyone else is tiptoeing around the big puddles, you don't need to worry about it. You just go straight through them. And then of course, to let it go down, you can hear the air being let out of the system. So as well as improving the ride, as well as helping the car to corner flat, what it also does is it gives you more ground clearance. And also, as you lower it, it means that you can load items in and out of the boot a lot more easily. What this car also has is one of these. Now, I told you about the towing earlier. This car can tow 3,500 kilos. That's substantial. So where there was no tow bar, we now have a tow bar, complete with electrics. And then to stow that away, press the button and it'll stow. Now I can do this from the inside the car as well, so I don't need to get my hands dirty in any way, shape or form to get this deployed. And then here you can see you've got a boot area here, the trademark door cards for the Defender, and a really nice leather and hard surface here. So if you drop the seats and you want to put large objects in here, you can do very easily. We also have up there camera. So this car's got cameras all the way around, which I'll show you in a second. So moving towards the inside of the car, again, I love what they've done with the door cards. I love how utilitarian it looks with this panel and visible screws, but how nicely it's done in terms of how soft the leather is, what's fitted in here. You've got a nice Meridian surround sound system. You've got the blind spot monitor here, also the memory functions for the seat and the mirrors and the windows. So although it looks utilitarian, it's actually beautifully made. The V8 insignia is illuminated. And then here, if I just move that forward, you can see in the back we've got 3 proper headrests, 3 full seat belts, ISOFIX points there and there, so to the outside seats, and plenty of legroom. Here we have this is what we call Ebony Robustec. So it's a very warm, soft fabric, and you can see it's perforated as well. I'll tell you why it's perforated in a second, but it feels really nice. So in the summer when you get into the car, you're not going to burn your legs if you've got shorts on, and in the winter that's lovely and warm. I'll come back to those in a second. The steering wheel on this car, this has an Alcantara stroke suede steering wheel, which again is nice and warm. It's got a lot of grip, and it just looks and feels good. And I'm just looking in front of me, and if I just scroll in, at the moment the head-up display is showing Land Rover. The head-up display is a unit inside here which projects onto the screen your speed, traffic sign recognition, and it will give you prompts from your navigation as well. So that means that you're driving safely, because you don't have to keep looking down here to see what speed you're going if you're going through a camera area or what have you. 29,342 miles showing currently. I shall shut the door. And then here we have a very nice cabin with a panoramic roof. We've got the shade halfway back so you can see it. Nice little greeting from the car. Because I've got the keys here, it's keyless, so I'm going to pop my foot on the brake and I'm going to press the start button. And now you've got that really nice deep sound of the V8. See the fuel lights come on, and very seldom do you get a car coming with lots of fuel in it. So this is a customizable dashboard. So at the moment we're showing the 2 dials with the navigation set in the middle. If I press this button here, the center one, then I can change what's going on. So I can adjust the head-up display, or I can change the display completely. So I can say to myself, right, okay, I'd like to change the layout. So I'm going to press the button for the layout. We're showing 2 dials at the moment. I can click to 1, or I can go full map. Once I exit, that'll pull away and I'll have the full map there. I'll go back to 2 dials for the minute, but what that gives us is a beautifully customizable display. Nice and easy to use, and looks good. The steering wheel, as well as having the Alcantara, you also have one of my favorite things, which is the heated steering wheel. This time of the year, I love that. The cruise control also has a limiter, and you can see from these buttons here, this is radar assisted cruise control or active cruise control. And that means that if you're doing, say, 70 miles an hour, someone pulls out in front of you doing 65, the car will recognize the fact that someone's going slower, and it will slow down and keep pace with the car in front. When the car in front moves out of the way, this car will speed back up again to where you had it set before. And the reason you got these 2 arrows here, that one and that one, is because you can close the interval between you and the car in front, or extend the interval between you and the car in front, depending on what you're comfortable with and the road conditions at the time. That's nice. That makes driving very easy. You've also got lane assist, which will give you an indication if you're starting to move across the lanes. And then these buttons, as I said, drive that screen. Moving down here, you can see here we've got our climate control, and you can adjust that for either side. Now I'm just going to come back to these seats. If I press the button, because I can say it shows here push, if I press the button, I can turn the heated seats on, and there's 3 different heat settings. If I turn it the other way, I can now put the cooling seats on. Now this is where these perforations in the seat come in, because that blows cool air through the seat and through the back of the seat to help keep you cool. So if it's a boiling hot day, let's push that again. If it's a boiling hot day, you can cool yourself, and if it's a freezing cold day, you can warm yourself up, and that is lovely. That's another one of my favorite options on this car. So I showed you the suspension earlier, so I can raise the suspension. So the back goes up first, then the front. I'm going to raise it again. There we go. I can see it. I can feel that going up, and I can now feel the tyres moving. because we're stationary doing it. So that now, if I go into our head system here and look for wade sensing, and it has a wade sensor, so the car will tell you how deep you're going. So do not exceed vehicle limits and capabilities, check surroundings, etc, etc. Yes, of course I will. But now we have a maximum of 2'11". If I drop that down, that goes to 2'9". If I drop it down again, it'll drop down to 2'6". That's a really nice feature of this car. Now this is your gear changer. So P for park. I'm going to pop the foot on the brake now so I don't disappear backwards. And I'm going to pull the trigger with this trigger finger and move that forward. The first thing you see here is that the light comes on. And then here we have the rear view camera. Very, very clear. And we're in off-road at the moment. If I go on so at off-road, it'll tell you what the axles are doing. If I go on-road, that then gives you this 360-degree camera. Now what that does is that has cameras all the way around the car, and it shows you what's around you. Now if you can see the yellow line, if I now turn, you can see that yellow line now shows that our wheels are pointing to show a different trajectory. And then if I square them back up again, so what that does is, if it's raining, which it is now, and if it's dark, even though you've got these large door mirrors which do make parking very easy, if they've got raindrops on them and the visibility isn't very good and you're trying to get into a car parking space, that is going to help you and make car parking a lot more easy than it would be if you didn't have it. So that's a lovely, lovely option. As I come away from that now, I'll pop that into P, and then just turn the engine off. You can see here that we have a wireless phone charging pad. And then here, if I just turn the ignition on, sorry, you can see I've got the light comes on. This is a refrigerated cool box. So I've got two different settings, or three if you count off. So off, fully cold, half cold. So cans of Coke, Mars bars, whatever you want to put in there. Doesn't matter what the temperature's doing outside. That is going to keep whatever you put inside nice and cool. So here we're showing Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So if you have a phone that supports either of these, then you can mirror the screen of your phone on the car. Climate control, so as well as having the short buttons here, we've also got the climate control fine-tuning. But what a lot of people don't realise is we've got a cabin air ionizer. And what that does is it helps to take, if you suffer from hay fever or allergies, that helps to take a lot of the particles out of the air. That's a lot better than just having air conditioning or a through draft of air. That helps to keep the air clean. I'll go back to here again. I'm going to scroll down, show you here that I can deploy the tow bar from here. I won't do it now. But what I can also do is I can add a trailer and I can weigh the trailer, and I can also check all the trailer lights from inside the car, and that just makes life so much easier. So it's a lovely place to be. You can see grab handles here. That tells you what the car's capable of. Nice Defender insignia there. It's just a lovely place to be. And I like the fact they've kept those little side lights up at the top there. Carry that over from the last Defender. If I look at the rear view mirror, it's nice and clear. If I move it, that now engages a camera. Again, if it's really dark and you can't see out of the back properly, this is called clear sight, and that engages a camera or mirror, depending on what suits you at the time and what your needs are. Fabulous, fabulous car. It's a brilliant all-rounder. It makes all the sense in the world, especially in the winter, and especially with all this water that we get at this time of the year. It still has the performance and the power to be very interesting and fun to drive. It's effortless to drive because it's got that power. It'll get you through most terrain, puddles, which makes this car very easy to use. I hope you like the car. I hope you like the video and find the video useful. If you'd like to know more about the car, please visit our website, www.bramshawebv.com. Drop us an email, drop us a text or a WhatsApp, or simply pick up the phone. We'd love to talk to you about it. Thanks for watching.